money at Menards. Salute to American Workers Sale. Texaco's Haviland Supreme Motor Oil is on sale. After mail-in rebate, your cost is just 57 cents a quart. Grab a case today. Protect your driveway and walkways with a Kona concrete sealer. It cures and seals all concrete and protects from salt and freeze-thaw damage. Just $7.95 a gallon. We're saving you money at Menards. Salute to American Workers Sale.
Save big money at Menards.
Fulton School in South Minneapolis looked not unlike many others this afternoon. The first day of school let out. Only 173 left before summer vacation.
WCCO Television presents Dave Moore, Cindy Hilger, Mike Fairborn, and Mark Rosen. This is the 6 p.m. report.
Good evening, everyone. Minnesota's 1,500 public schools opened their classrooms today. Another school year is underway. What happened to summer, fall, and winter are on the way.
School is big business, and this year children are offered more choices and continued expansion of open enrollment. The new State Arts High School opened in Golden Valley today with 135 students, all juniors from across Minnesota. 3,700 students have applied for open enrollment, wishing to change schools under that program. And school enrollment is high this year in the Twin Cities. Roughly 40,000 students in the Minneapolis system, 34,000 in St. Paul.
One of the most anticipated school reopenings took place at Sibley High in Mendota Heights. Students and teachers there were greeted with a balloon rainbow and a full squad of cheerleaders heralding their return after spending last spring in temporary quarters. You'll recall 4 teenagers vandalized Sibley in March. 5 months of cleanup costs $5 million. Tonight, Sibley has a new look and new hope. Though the school day ended just hours ago, a celebration of the new beginning continues. Our Pat Kessler joins us now from Mendota Heights with more on that story. Pat?
Dave, I've got to tell you, when I was in high school, they never treated me this way. And this day was a special day at Sibley High School. It hasn't been a very fun story to report for us. There was a lot of damage here and a lot of pain for a lot of families. But all of that has changed. They're back with a new school here. Everybody is up. It's a real family picnic here. They've got hundreds of hot dogs that they're serving. Have you got enough hot dogs? No, plenty. They're all wearing T-shirts. Sibley back with class. They've got a long line of people here lining up for hot dogs and soda pop and potato chips and cake. Even the cake says back with class, and they are. They came back today. Everybody's very happy about this, and they're going to start the school year off with a bang. Now, if my teachers served me this way, served me dinner when I was in high school, things might have been a lot different, Dave.
Yeah, you'd be 150 pounds heavier. Thank you, Pat.
About 800 students experienced a brand new school in Eagan today. Dakota Hills Middle School opened for 6th and 7th graders. The new high school is still several months from completion there, however. And Darian Ward reports on first day jitters and some double takes.
The kids were relatively quiet getting off the buses, but once inside, it was another matter. The first day of school chatter touched on everything from classroom assignments to problems with new lockers.
My locker doesn't close.
Did you push it real hard?
We tried everything and it doesn't close.
Monday was a sleepless night for most kids, and Christy Score played tug-of-war with Mom in the morning.
Yeah, I laid my outfit on the bed, and then my mom goes, no, you can't wear that. And so I have to get something else. And she goes, no, you can't wear that. So I had to wear this.
Good morning. We want to welcome all of our students to Dakota Hills Middle School.
After the official announcement from Principal Patrick Sullivan, it was time for a quick detour to those exasperating lockers. Kids had to put up with construction in the halls and a nosy camera crew.
I'll just stand here.
Oh, my gosh.
If these 6th and 7th graders thought they were the only ones trying to adjust to the new maze of Dakota Hills, they were wrong.
We still get lost in the building, so don't feel badly if you get lost. Just stop someone and ask them. And we're still confused as to which rooms are where. Some of the rooms are not usable yet.
Because of a few minor problems, construction for Dakota Hills will probably be completed by October 1st. But Eagan high schoolers won't report until next fall. Darian Ward, WCCO Television News, Eagan.
For the students at Dakota Hills and all other schools across Minnesota, summer vacation is just 9 months away.
Tax reform discussion got underway in earnest today at the state capitol. House and Senate conferees broke up into subcommittees to go over Governor Perpich's tax relief recommendations. There will be meetings each morning this week, again on Monday and Tuesday, with a special session expected to be called in 2 or possibly 3 weeks. Today, St. Paul businessman John Grunseth announced his candidacy for the Republican governor's race with a promise.
I will not raise taxes. Minnesotans are already the 4th highest tax people in the land, while 15th in income and 44th in a percentage of take-home pay.
With his family on hand, he also addressed the drug problem.
Minnesota must adopt legislation that hurts the trafficker and the user. We should impose fines up to $10,000 for possession convictions of even small amounts of drugs and make parole and probation contingent on frequent mandatory drug tests.
Mr. Grunseth said he'll run in next year's primary even without party endorsement. Cindy?
The Minnesota Supreme Court began its fall session today with a precedent-setting case on fetal rights. The court heard arguments on whether the death of a fetus should be considered a homicide. Under Minnesota law, the penalty for fetal homicide is life in prison, the same as any other homicide.
Murder in the first degree.
The 5 men and 2 women on Minnesota's High Court were asked to consider such questions as what conception means and when life ends. Today's case stems from charges against this man, 28-year-old Sean Patrick Merrill of Rochester. Merrill is charged with first-degree homicide for killing his former girlfriend, Gail Anderson, and her 1-month-old fetus.
It was determined, and I think this is debatable, that the embryo was 26 to 28 days old. It was half the size of the tip of my thumb.
Defense attorney Kevin Lund says a 1986 state law that protects fetuses is unconstitutional.
I don't believe that we should give the same degree of legal protection to all human beings at every stage of development.
The U.S. Supreme Court has clearly indicated that there are state interests which it is appropriate to protect even earlier than viability.
Olmsted County Attorney Raymond Schmitz argued that even embryos that are only days old deserve equal protection under the law.
You know, then that leads on, I suppose, to the question of how can you intend, in that case, to kill a life he didn't know existed.
It's not clear whether Sean Merrill knew Anderson was pregnant, or even if Anderson herself knew. What is clear is that this case is the first time a state court has been asked to decide where to draw the line on fetal rights.
The abortion debate is going to become part of every one of these trials.
Sean Patrick Merrill has been held in jail since the November murders. Dave?
Still ahead on the 6 p.m. report, Highway 5 in Carver County becomes a runway for a crippled plane.
And later in sports, a negotiation deadline is here for Vikings standouts who want more money, and Mark Rosen will explain.
iLab is now part of the Pearl Vision family. You'll find the same great people. You'll get the same quality 1-hour service. And to celebrate, now when you buy 1 pair of glasses, you'll get a 2nd pair free. Just write free glasses on a piece of paper and bring it to any iLab or participating Pearl location. Glasses fast, glasses right, and now glasses free.
Used to be, when investors got into the stock market, they could almost plan on things going one way. But unfortunately, things don't always come out as planned. So if you're looking for an investment you can count on, come to TCF for a variety of insured savings plans that offer a guaranteed rate and keep yourself well covered.
Some coffee companies imply that the darker a coffee appears, the better it is. Not true. Sanko ground coffee thinks that the way it's made is more important than how it looks. We're the only ones who use pure water and effervescence to decaffeinate naturally, removing virtually none of the coffee flavor from the bean. Wonderful. With or without these. Sanko ground decaffeinated coffee. You can't beat the original.
The Minnesota Twins are rounding up their wagons and heading for Texas to take on the Rangers. It's a shootout in the Texas heat tonight on Midwest Sports Channel.
And Edina man and his two little boys feel lucky to be alive tonight.
That's right. Pilot Joe Nolden had to land his plane on a highway last night. It was pitch dark. His plane was without power. The touchdown happened on Highway 5 in Chanhassen near the Arboretum. As Jeff Kelly reports, Mr. Nolden had no idea until today how close he came to disaster.
This was the scene soon after the touchdown. The Piper airplane sitting by the side of Highway 5, the relieved pilot, Joe Nolden, putting his two little boys in a squad car. Nolden says he was flying at about 1,500 feet when the engine all of a sudden stopped cold.
I think I just said, oh, God. I was basically in a state of shock. I just couldn't believe it because it's the last thing you want to happen at night is the engine failure.
A terrified Nolden tried for a few minutes to restart the engine. He says as the plane dropped lower and lower, he didn't even have a chance to pray. And he barely remembers talking to his oldest boy.
My 7-year-old asked, he said, Daddy, are we going to die? And I didn't know until later what I said to him because I had to ask him because I didn't remember. But I guess I said, no, Aaron, we're not going to die.
500 feet above the ground, he decided to try and put the plane down on a crowded Highway 5. He still doesn't know how it happened, but he says the traffic somehow disappeared when it came time to land. Once down, a car smashed into the plane's left wingtip. In the light of day, it's plain just how lucky Nolden was. He didn't know it at the time, but as he landed in the darkness, he flew right under some power lines and over a sign in the middle of the highway.
That's miraculous to me. I'm grateful to be alive today, and my two boys are alive and okay.
Nolden got his pilot's license just 2 months ago. Yet even after this close call, he says he'll be flying again tomorrow. Jeff Kelly, WCCO Television News, Chanhassen.
The FAA is still investigating why the Piper's engine failed.
The FBI is looking for a man who robbed a Norwest bank this morning. The robber entered the bank at 410 2nd Avenue South in downtown Minneapolis just before 11 o'clock this morning, armed with a handgun. He was last seen traveling north on 2nd Avenue on foot. Police described the suspect as a black male in his 30s with short hair and a mustache. He was wearing a dark shirt and trousers.
Tears and hugs last night for the last ride of the State Fair Carousel. With the close of the fair came the end of the 75-year tradition. Carousel will move to St. Paul's Town Square next year if $400,000 can be raised to save it. Carousel volunteers were treated to the final ride 2.5 hours after the fair had officially closed. Total attendance figures from the 126th State Fair RN this year turned out to be not so bad. Third best on record, with just more than 1.5 million people crossing the turnstiles. 1988 was the best ever with 1.6 million. Fair officials say some untimely rain might account for the decline this year.
In a moment, Mike Fairborn will be here with his forecast for the week ahead, and he'll let us know if there's a shower in store.
Join the rush to the Goodyear Touchdown Tire Sale at your participating Goodyear retailer. You'll score big with the road-tripping tread of Goodyear radials. They can weather the sun, battle the rain, and beat the budget crunch. The Goodyear Touchdown Tire Sale. It's a savings blitz on quality Goodyear radials, now through September 23rd. Nobody fits you like Goodyear.
If you haul feed and livestock or do construction, you need a tough truck, like Ford F-250. F-250 is America's best-selling 3/4-ton truck. Got over 4,400-pound payload. Can tow more than 12,000 pounds with the largest V8 gas or diesel engine available. Your local Ford dealer can save you over $2,400 in options and get your cash back. So if you depend on your truck to farm the farm, or to build the buildings, or to travel the highways, you can depend on F-250. See your Northland Ford dealer today.
A furnace? Not a day of trouble, ever.
Must be a good one.
Must be a Lennox.
It must be.
Get up to a $200 rebate on a Pulse furnace with a high-efficiency cooling system, or choose 0% financing.
For reliable Lennox heating and air conditioning products and top-quality installation,
Call Narkey Heating and Air Conditioning today.
At O'Connor Plumbing and Heating, you get friendly sales and service and the best in energy-saving equipment.
call my friend John at O'Connor's today.
Attaboy, Dave.
Is your man less than a 10? Does he dress like this? But you'd love him to dress like this? Phil will show you how to spruce up your man, next on Donahue.
Wednesday at 8 on Channel 4.
He was convicted of murder, but the reported getaway man says
Terry McCracken wasn't even there. Is Terry McCracken facing life for a crime he did not commit?
Tuesday night at 10:35 on Channel 4.
Great day for back to school. Kids didn't want to go to school, though, I bet, on a day like today.
That's the bad part right
Yeah.
there. Oh, it was about even in our house. I think half the kids wanted to go back, and half of them maybe went back with a little bit of...
A little push.
Right,
huh?
right. And yeah, we've got a shower or two always up our sleeve, so...
What kind of a line was that?
I don't know. Bob Fish, do you know what that is? That's Minnehaha Creek, and look at the grasses in there. Isn't that beautiful, though?
Oh,
It's
my.
so
Oh, my.
crystal clear. You can see the grasses in the bottom of the creek as the current's flowing by. Bob Fishnick shot that for us. I mentioned that, didn't I? High temperature, 81 degrees, a low of 53. No rainfall, but boy, there's a lot of dew this morning. Did you notice that dripping off the eaves of your house, and the grass was wet? Well, it kept the kids off the grass anyway. The grass was too wet to walk around in, at least for a while, until things kind of dried out. There's sunrise and sunset for today. It can still get hot in September. You see that record high, 98. High clouds out there most of the day. Still out there, temperature is 79 degrees right now. Our humidity is 45%. Winds out of the southeast at 10. A dew point of 56 and going up. Tomorrow will be a much muggier day than today was, although the temperature is going to be about the same, high of around 81, 82 degrees. We had a lot of cloud cover over us yesterday, early in the day, rains even overnight, night before last, but that moved on to the east, leaving behind clear skies. Here are the high thin clouds that are kind of drifting up over the southern part of the state, moving on to the east. The rest of the night will be mostly clear. It looks like just another very pleasant night out there with still some decent humidities, and the temperatures dropping down to around 60 for an overnight low. Here's what they're doing right now. Up in the northern part of the state in the 70s, still some 70s through the central part of the state, and here in the Twin Cities, 79 degrees. But out to the west, warming into the 80s, and that's Pierce, South Dakota with 94 at this hour. So there's still a lot of heat left in this old summer yet. Don't kick it off yet. Here's what's going on. We do have a low pressure area a little bit to the south of us, and out to the west, all that moving to the east, and sometime late in the day tomorrow, we'll see some increasing clouds. We'll certainly have the warmer air and the more humid air coming in over us. But behind this thing, some real cold air. In fact, a winter storm watch in effect for parts of Montana. For the higher elevations, we're talking about over 6,000 feet. But anyway, that's kind of the sign of things to come. Our high temperatures will warm into the 80s tomorrow, 70s up to the north, and there's that pocket of colder air out there to the west. Hurricane Gabrielle, well, still a pretty strong hurricane. Right now moving away from any land masses. Here's the Leeward Islands and Puerto Rico. Still could possibly nick parts of the east coast, but there's no sign that that's going to happen anytime in the next couple of days. Winds are 135 miles an hour, making it the strongest hurricane so far this season. We'll keep an eye on it for you, but just to let you know that it is out there, okay? A long ways away from anything threatening. High clouds through the night tonight, low temperature of around 60 degrees, winds out of the south at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Tomorrow, partly sunny, a little more humid, 82 with south winds at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Then tomorrow night, variable clouds. It'll be muggy, a chance of showers and thunderstorms developing with a low of 65. And Thursday, get out the raincoats, moms. Variable clouds, a chance of morning showers, and then slowly clearing up with a high temperature of around 80 degrees. The extended outlook, next chance of some thunderstorms will be on Saturday, a little bit cooler. After this little storm comes through, high temperatures only in the 70s.
Good. We'll look forward to that.
Yep.
Thank you.
And we'll pick up Mark Rosen on the sports scene in just a moment. Among other things, he'll report the latest on Anthony Carter's contract difficulties as the deadline for negotiation comes and goes.
Everyone knows the best jellies and preserves are made in small batches. So does Home Brand. Cooked naturally good and fresh a little bit at a time. Home Brand jellies and preserves.
Bring the goodness home.
Kids really love peanut butter, but would you add up to 7 teaspoons of sugar like many brands? Neither would Home Brand. All we add is more good peanutty taste. Home Brand peanut butter, no sugar added.
Bring the goodness home.
Now Red Lobster tempts you like never before with king crab legs. Sweet snow crab. Luscious Dungeness. It's our Crab Lovers Festival, starting at an incredible $6.95. Give in to temptation. 8 great crab and seafood platters you'll love, starting at just $6.95. The Crab Lovers Festival, now at Red Lobster. And kids get shrimp, a complete meal, just $1.95.
These caring folks are Walgreens pharmacists, and here is one of their helpers. Working as a team, they give you up-to-date savings information. And with Walgreens 21st Century Technology, your current records are always as close as your nearest Walgreens. Concerned pharmacists, superior healthcare technology, only at Walgreens.
For the right answer to back-to-school savings, come on over to Walgreens. Everything from kitty crayons to college theme books, all at very smart Walgreens low prices.
Our annual Labor Day Sell-a-thon is in full swing here at Towsley Ford.
And Towsley Subaru. This is your once-a-year chance for Labor Day Sell-a-thon savings.
It can add up to thousands on the car truck you want. Brand new 89 Escorts are Labor Day priced at just $59.95, while the conversion van's only $12,995.
Over 1,500 cars and trucks sell-a-thon priced with our biggest rebates ever, and financing as low as 2.9 APR.
So hurry to either location, Towsley Ford
and Towsley Subaru, White Bear Lake.
Oh, boy, can you hardly wait until the season starts. Today's communique from the front office of the Vikings.
Well, he's still behind closed doors. We're talking about Mike Lynn. He's had the long line of agents waiting to discuss contracts. What else is doing? We've been talking about this for months now. Mike Lynn has said this would be the final day he would discuss extending contracts with any of his players currently under terms with the Vikings, which includes Anthony Carter and Joey Browner. Now, Lynn met this afternoon with Carter's attorney, Bob Wolf, maybe the top sports agent in the country. Carter will continue to play with the Vikings, but Wolf said Carter is not happy the way he has been treated.
We did the best we could, but unfortunately, Mike has his own ideas of what he thinks should be paid, which does not correspond to the rest of the league. And whatever he wants to do, that's his decision. But right now, it appears that Anthony will be playing for the team, but is also saying that he would like to be traded.
Well, meanwhile, Joey Browner's status remains up in the air. Joey failed to report to camp, upset over the contract he signed 4 years ago, then finally did come in last week. Privately, the Vikings have been grumbling about the fact that they had 9 all-pro players last year. None are the highest paid at their position. Meanwhile, Carter wants to be considered in the same salary range as all-pro Jerry Rice of the San Francisco 49ers. Carter is making about half of what Rice is. What Lynn has to weigh with those two, along with unsigned Steve Jordan and Jesse Solomon, is next year he also has Chris Dolman and Keith Millard to deal with. The price of success. Well, after months of hype and haggling, Tony Mandarich signed a 4-year contract with the Green Bay Packers today worth $4.4 million, half of his original demand, but more than any other offensive lineman in the National Football League. During negotiations, the league's #2 pick spent plenty of time bad-mouthing Green Bay, but he seemed comfortable there today, even posing for pictures with babies. He also displayed newfound humility.
And there'll be many mistakes, and I'm sure that I'll screw up many times in practice where the whole offense is going to have